So this brings us to the notion of homonormativity, which is an important concept that you need to know for the exam. There will be questions on the exam that ask you to kind of think through homonormativity in the relationship to drag history and RuPaul's Drag Race specifically. So this term was coined by a queer theorist scholar, Lisa Dugan, in 2003 to refer to, and I quote, a politics that does not contest dominant heteronormative assumptions and institutions, but upholds and sustains them, while promising the possibility of a demobilized gay constituency and a privatized, depoliticized gay culture anchored in domesticity and consumption. And a really kind of uh, poignant way of kind of visualizing this concept is the image in the right hand corner. We're just like you, sexist, racist, classist. And this is a piece of kind of media put by a radical queer group that is contesting and critiquing the idea of homonormativity, rather, of the ways in which certain LGBTQ, again, particularly gay men and lesbians, um, largely white, etc., are able to access certain privileges. And in order to be legible within this kind of culture that we live in, um, participating in white supremacy, in racism, in misogyny, in both explicit and implicit ways. So one can still be part of perpetuating white supremacy, even if they, for instance, are on a show like RuPaul's Drag Race, even if they have friends who are people of color. It's a lot more complicated than an individual dynamic. Kind of as a parallel to homonormativity, within the past 30 years, we have seen incredible shifts economically within major urban centers. So the creation of the suburbs in the 1950s, particularly in the US, created this concept or this movement that that scholars often refer to as white flight. So there was this idea that the cities, the inner cities particularly, were not places where white middle class families wanted to raise their children. Obviously, this is based around racial and a white supremacist notions where the cities are these places of moral decay, and this is also where you get the creation of major highways linking suburbs to cities where people would commute in and out to work. And after that kind of this is a longer history, of course. I'm being very um, this is not a comprehensive kind of analysis, but how gentrification or kind of the refurbishing of specific neighborhoods, based on this idea of cleaning up the streets, this is a part of that longer history, right? So a lot of queer activism that we'll look at that is critiquing homonormativity is also critiquing these systems of gentrification.